we know you made a recent return to ESPN after years of being away. How did that feel for you?
It felt great. It felt great because of what I did. I was on Around the Horn as they were doing their send-off. They brought a lot of us back that used to regularly contribute to the program. And that group, you know, as you know, Cam, being there is like, there's different groups run different shows, right? So like, it's under the umbrella of ESPN, but they all operate very differently. It's like their own little country inside of ESPN. And so the Around the Horn group has always been phenomenal to work with. And so it was just good to be back and be in company with them. And ESPN and I, we had an awkward parting, for sure. But
Awkward parting?
An awkward parting, yes, we did. It was a parting, I feel like I always have to reiterate to people, it's like, I was never fired from ESPN. I left of my own will because I had done everything there that was possible. On the way out, they actually offered me 2 opportunities. And that was, you know, something I had to sort of decide and figure out, did I want to stay or whatever? Because I came to them and asked them, hey, I think I want to leave here. Like, how can we work this out? We had that conversation, I think it was right after the ESPYs. And so, yeah, like people are under the assumption that I have some bitterness or hatred toward them. It's like, I don't. It was the best job that I've ever had. It's the longest job I've ever had. And the journalist that I was when I started at ESPN versus the journalist I was when I left were totally different. Like, I was a much better journalist after I left ESPN. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a great place to work. But it is a very political environment, and I don't mean politics as in Republican and Democrat. Yeah. It's like it's a political environment to navigate, and it can be tough because people there are constantly fighting for real estate. Oh, we gonna get into it? What you got to say?
Can we keep it funky?
Let's keep it. That's the name of the show, right?
Was it because of Dave Roberts?
That I left?
Yes.
So Dave, I guess for the people watching, Dave is a Black executive at ESPN. He and I are both from Detroit. Dave, actually, his people and my people went to the same church.
Wow.
That he was one of the first, when I got to ESPN and was regularly coming in the newsroom, Dave was one of the first people that I met, and we figured out we played little Negro geography, oh snap.
Negro, you know this person,
you know that. We went to the same church, what? So I had a really good relationship with Dave until Dave was over the Sports Center that Michael Smith and I hosted. And it was a rough experience.
Let's talk about it.
It was a
because
very rough experience.
That's another individual that's like, yo, I'm not going to use my platform to throw slander. I'm going to use my platform to get a better understanding. You know what I'm saying? I think your thoughts are important. I think people need to understand that. And I think I'm not going to not allow what is the obvious here. Because from what I've known, there was a segment in your book talking about your ESPN experience, primarily in hinting towards Dave Roberts, right? So I did not want to not cover those things because that's for public consumption. It's not like it's a private issue or whatever, but I want to make it completely known that your experience for what it is, how do we get to this particular point?
So when Dave took over the show, it was him and Norby Williamson, who is no longer there. And it was rough because they had an idea, what they wanted SportsCenter to be did not match what we wanted it to be. It's kind of, to speak in football, if you will, it's like when a quarterback gets drafted and then they fire the coach, and then somebody else takes over, who maybe they wanted a traditional drop back passer, but you're more of a mobile quarterback.
You're not comfortable in how they
in their system, right? So they wanted to run a different system, and so there was constant clashing And the part I didn't like about Dave is that Dave would have meetings with me and Mike, just the three of us, right? We real casual, he like, yeah, we gotta do it this way. Like we on some, we sticking together type of shit, right? Then we get in a meeting and them faces different in the room and Dave is a different person. And I was like, oh, this is a switch up. Because that ain't what you just said to us when we was in the meeting together. I thought we was on some one band, one sound. We get in these meetings with these other folks, and y'all know who I mean by other folks. And you switching up. And I couldn't respect it. And so I thought he was definitely throwing a stone and hiding. I can't do that. And so we had some issues. I was like, I want off SportsCenter, you know, because especially after the controversy with the whole Trump thing, they did a major switch up in general where it's almost like they wanted the viewers to not be reminded that it was two Black people hosting this show. So all the things that we had put in there that were part of our personality, like we had a personality wall in the background and it had like a picture like Biggie, it had cultural things, right? And even when Mike and I went to the White House and met the Obamas, like we had those pictures up there, Mike and his kids, like things where you like, Black people host this show, okay? And so after that Trump thing happened, all that had to come down. Really what they wanted to come down was the Obama photo. That's what they wanted. But they couldn't single out the Obama photo. They instead said, no, it's all got to come down. And so Mike and I used to open the show. Like, as soon as the show came on, you see Mike and I, we bantering, doing our thing, change that too. Suddenly you heard a voice of God, and then it would just be highlights. And it was like, it's like they were trying to trick white people into thinking that Black people didn't watch the show.
ESPN.
You're right. It's like, yeah, that's what you would hear. And then they come in and be like, oh, snap, it's two Black people hosting the show. Like, what?
We've been bamboozled.
Right.
Random. Okay.
And literally, Cam, we had a meeting once where they pointed out that one of the things they wanted to address when they put us on that SportsCenter is that not a lot of Black people watch that particular SportsCenter.
Okay.
Right?
What time slot was it?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
Which is a tough time slot, right? Yeah, because like no games have happened.
Man, listen, dog. Oh my God.
Now you know about these. Now you know about
the time slots.
Them time slots is everything.
Them slots hit everything because you have to start to realize it's like, yeah, folks still in traffic at 6 p.m. Like they ain't even at home yet. Now 8 p.m.
Might be a little different.
12 noon.
Hey,
everybody watching.
Look, Scott Van Pelt has one of the best sports centers because it's after the game, okay? So everybody want to turn in and see people talk about it. But 6 o'clock is tough. No, you're setting up what's happening that night. All the people have seen all the things all day already, right? So anyway, one of the things they wanted to address was the fact that among Black viewers, it was low viewership. So they're like, we bringing y'all in. We want to see a huge increase in this. We think we will see one, blah, blah, blah. But we have a meeting later on after a few months in. I don't remember exactly how long it was. But then they're like, oh, the Black viewership has exploded. Not surprising, right? But white people aren't watching the show as much as they used to. And we like, okay. And suddenly, because the one thing about Dave, and I want to wrap that up actually in a more positive note about my relationship with Dave now. Dave is very into ratings. He's very into Q ratings. He's very into ratings, period. And so, yeah, suddenly we were getting suggestions like, can you guys have Will Cain on the show? Will Cain, who at the time, white commentator, conservative leading, he's now on Fox. Why do you want us to have Will Cain on the show? It's like they started introducing all these things where it's like, oh, y'all trying to get white people to watch this show. And it was insulting to us, like very insulting. Because it's like, you know, and we took a lot of shit doing that show. That, like, for a lot of people, being able to host SportsCenter is a dream job.
No, for sure.
It just wasn't my dream. And so I left it. And I was just, before I left ESPN, I came to them and I knew because of the political atmosphere and because of my controversy with Donald Trump that they would be more than happy. They couldn't kick me off the show because I had essentially what is a no trade clause, right? I was only contracted to do SportsCenter. I only had to do SportsCenter. And there was nothing they could do about it, right? So essentially I came to them and I said, hey, I want to get off this show because I got tired of every day essentially fighting for my identity. Like I got tired of that shit. I was like, I'm not doing these cultural clashes with y'all no more.
Yeah.
And so normally that's difficult to pull off, but I knew it was also in their best interest because they couldn't ask me off the show, but I knew they probably wanted me off the show.
Yeah.
And I wanted to leave the show. So we on the same page.
That's nice.
And so I spent my last 6 to 8 months. I moved from Connecticut, thank God, no disrespect, but disrespect. I moved from Connecticut and I moved to DC. And the last 6 or 8 months I was at ESPN, I was able to just do the shows that I liked.
Yeah.
And that was great. And return to writing.
I'll say this.
And real quick, because I don't want to forget it, Dave Roberts.
Yep.
Dave and I actually, earlier this year, we had breakfast. It's the first time I talked to that man since I left.
Wow.
And
how many years?
So I left ESPN in 2018. So that lets you know how long it has been. And he and I had breakfast. And as soon as we sat down, very first thing he did, he apologized.
Wow.
And that meant a lot to me. And so Dave and I we did not have a good relationship when I left ESPN. We're square now.
Yeah.
We're good.
I would say for Dave Roberts, to me, if it wasn't for Dave Roberts and Stephen A. Smith, I wouldn't be on ESPN. Not because of the opportunity. It was presented before to be on TV. I didn't want to be on TV. Why? Because I'm not changing.
Oh, you suspected that was going to be part of the package.
Man, Dave had meetings, him and my chief of staff, and the only thing that I cared about was I started to see how people were treating me the latter part of my career in football. And it was like, well, why Cam all? Why he not stretching? Everybody else stretching. He jumping around, dancing around. Why he just coming to practice? Why he the last one to practice? They're not knowing there's means to everything that I do. And even being or going through that situation, my situation was like, this corporate America, they not gonna allow me to be me. Dave Roberts gave me insurance. And it was like, yo, just consider it. And I already had, the relationship with Stephen A. Smith to the degree where it's like, man, I ain't about to go do what Stephen A. do. But when you start to see the talent that goes into a columnist, a journalist, a person to cover sports, it's not just your typical fan eating popcorn, eating donuts, watching TV, and it's just like, no, I have tons of notes while watching the game amongst family and friends, and it's like, hold on. Hey, stop that real quick. They just put a statistic on there. I can use that tomorrow for first. It's
a lot of research.
You're always on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Dave gave me assurance. He was like, Ken, we're not trying to change you. We want that. We don't have that, right? And I was like, that's the only thing that I care about. I care about authenticity. I don't care about money. I already made money. I care about making sure that I impact and empower people who look like me, who think like me, and who are moved by what I do. That's beyond black and white. That's like, yo, I see people all the time in transition or in transit where it's like, yo, dog, I fool with you, bro. Like, I really like you. Even the situation from last night, he's like, dog, I like your content. Like, keep it up. And I always thought that I would just be a football player and then just ride off into the sunset and just be like, okay, cool. Me and all my kids, we would just be hanging out and doing that. But it's like now I genuinely love creating content first and also not realizing that my voice matters. And those two individuals gave me reassurance for that. And I'm forever grateful for that, to be able to say like, dang, dog, like, I can be me. But everybody has a reporting responsibility, no matter who you are.
Right.